Welcome to the Auto Vault podcast, where the world of luxury meets the open road. This show is all about bringing together extraordinary people from all walks of life, united by one thing, a passion for automobiles. This podcast is your front row seat to the stories that drive us all. I'm Scott Prescott, founder and owner of Auto Vault Rodeo Drive here in beautiful downtown Beverly Hills. Hello, everybody. My name is Scott Prescott, and I'm with Auto Vault Rodeo Drive here in Beverly Hills. Today, we're doing a podcast with Iana Petrivska. She is actually well known as Miss Gullwing on the internet. She's also involved in the Mercedes-Benz Gullwings and SL restorations in Germany. We're going to probe into a little bit of what that's all about. And welcome today. How are you?
Thank you for the invitation. I'm happy to be here.
Good, very good. And my first thing was, because we spoke earlier about not a lot of women are involved in cars at your level and what you do. How did all this start? I mean, where did you grow up and how did you get an influence with cars?
I grew up in Ukraine in a small village with the population of 300 people. And my family, we were a poor family, and the only one luxury thing that we had, it was our orange Moskvich. I don't know if you know this car, Moskvich.
Oh, no.
It's a Russian production.
Oh, okay.
The car was produced in Russia.
In Russia, oh.
And when I was 12, my grandfather taught me how to drive. And yeah, the only one entertainment in the village was this car. You know, it could take you everywhere. And once I have learned to drive with 12, I could take the car of my grandfather and go for a ride through the village. There was no police. I could pick up my friends and go to the lake for swimming.
So you were famous?
I was famous.
Wow.
I could drive the car and collect my friends, and not many people were interested in driving.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But for me, it was something. The car gave me freedom to decide, okay, where do I drive next?
Wow. Now, with that car, who actually worked on the car? Say if it broke, what would happen there? Was your grandfather involved in repair or anything like that? Or
yeah, my grandfather, he had a little workshop, and he was fixing engines of old cars and also big tractors. And he was working on the field, and always when the car broke, we went together to the workshop, to our garage, and we were fixing the car together, you know. And he explained me
wow.
all the spare parts. Now I'm not so good in technique, but I can tell you, I can change spark plugs.
Yeah, general maintenance on a car. Wow. So I would say that's the first introduction into automobiles then. The Russian car. Isn't that ironic, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
So as you grew up, and this was at 12, and then as you grew up, you kind of carried on that desire for the cars? I mean, you got into other cars at all, or?
I liked driving, but then when I was 17, I had to decide what to do in my life. And then the life took me away from the cars, and I started to learn foreign languages, German language, because I wanted to travel the world and see what's going on abroad the country.
Yeah.
Because when I was a child, I didn't have an opportunity to travel and see in other countries. And also there is one thing, my father wanted to have first kid. He wanted to have a son first, but he got me. And he started to teach me all the car brands.
All the boy things, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And he presented me like little models of the cars. So that's all my toys were those little models of the cars, and garage of my grandfather.
Wow. No dolls, just cars.
No dolls.
Wow, that's funny. So that was kind of an influence too when you were younger.
Yeah.
Now, as you grew up, you were involved now in a company called HK Engineering, which is actually in Germany. When did you start working for them?
So when I was in Ukraine 10 years ago, I decided to move abroad to Munich. And then I started to study again. So before I started Germanistics, like German philosophy, like not philosophy.
Psychology or?
I was a teacher
History?
of German language.
Oh, okay.
And once I finished it, I moved to Munich and started to study hotel management. But then after 2.5 years, I realized it's not actually it's not my passion. I always loved cars and I like driving.
Wow.
And then one day I had, so my husband, he bought a new camera. He likes to make pictures. And he bought Leica and he said, let's test my new camera. And then he said that his best friend, the best friend of his father, he's working for HK Engineering and he offered us to organize a car for photo shooting at the lake next to Munich. And it was 300 SL. And then on Sunday morning, we met at the lake. The employee of HK, he brought this car. And then we made some pictures. And then this guy, he knew that I like driving cars. And then he said, did you drive this car before? And I didn't know what car it is like. I know nothing about 300 SL. I just saw this classic car. It looked so beautiful, the shape and those wings. So like, wow. And it reminded me about my past, the time in the village with my grandfather and driving around. And then, yes, he offered me the key without explaining the car. And I was like self-confident. Yeah, sure, I can drive.
Yeah.
I just took the key and started driving. And my husband was my co-driver. And then in the first 5 minutes, I noticed that something is, the car is not running smooth and fast. And I said to my husband, something is wrong with this car. He said, like, it's old car, keep driving. And then for 40 minutes, we drove direction HK Engineering for the first time. And then when we arrived there, the car started burning in the back. So all this time, the handbrake was on.
Yeah. So the brakes were on the rear tires.
So we destroyed the handbrake. And in this moment, when we arrived at HK, we opened the wings. And then mechanics came out of the workshop and said, why you get out of the car while you're driving the boss's car?
Wow.
And this Gullwing, it was famous Ruby Rosa Gullwing of Hans Kleisel, of the owner of HK Engineering. And the mechanic said, okay, now you have to go to the owner and explain what happened.
Wow.
And then my husband, then the employee who gave me the car and me, we went to Hans, he was there. And then we introduced ourselves and then he offered us to drink something, like sit down, relax, and then tell me what happened. No, he first asked, what are you doing in life? And then we, told everything what we do.
It was like a job interview, kind of. He was giving you a job interview. Wow.
And then, we explained what happened, and he's like, relax, it happens to me even now, after 70 years, you know? And then it's our daily business, we can fix it within 2 days.
Yes.
And then, okay. And then he said, like, next week I have a rally from Munich to Kitzbühel with hypercars and with another classic cars. Jochen Maas will be there. Would you like to join me? And I will teach you how to drive.
Wow.
Then my husband and me, we joined this rally, and it was my first rally. And I really like it. It was 5 years ago.
Wow.
And then I thought, okay, it's what I like. I need to work with cars.
You found it. You're like, the light went off and said,
it was
wow,
like
I found it. This
fire.
is what I want to do. Wow.
But I didn't know this time what I can do, because I worked at the hotel and then thought, okay, I cannot just drive cars, you know.
Right. But the thing was, you found something you liked, the light went off, you weren't concerned about what you were going to do, you just knew that that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
You'll figure it out later, right? Yeah.
Exactly
wow,
like
that's
that.
very nice. That's an amazing story. Now, when I was thinking about when you were talking about the mechanic, I kind of knew exactly when you get in the car what the problem was. Anybody that knows the cars and is familiar with the Gullwings and the SL500s, it has a ratchet e-brake on it, so it has to be. You can't tell if it's on or off, really.
No.
And so if you get in the car and you drive it away, you can have that problem. So I'm sure your boss had done that before, also.
Yeah, many times.
Yeah.
Even
Wow.
now, when we are going on rallies, he forgets to put it off.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Wow. Now, given that, and given also anyone that does know Gullwings and the Mercedes, based on the older Gullwings and SLs had drum brakes, and the newer ones had disc brakes. Do you remember what year that car was? Was it a
54.
Okay. So I think
The
it probably had
oldest,
the drum brakes. Yeah. So
yeah,
they
drum
probably
brakes.
just heated up and slid and slid and slid and started on fire. Wow.
And like it was very
Yeah.
so big, so smoke came out.
Yeah. Wow.
And girl going out of the car, and mechanics like shocked. Why is a girl driving a car? You know.
Never saw that before.
No.
Now, with that in the car design and the Gullwing, what in your passion or in your interest of the car, what are physically some of the things about the car that you think are unique about it, or that Mercedes did and the design in it that might be different from some other cars? Do you have anything that you think would be different, or you like about them?
What I like about the Gullwing is, of course, legendary doors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's always, and doesn't matter where you're going, everyone like, wow, doors. Like,
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
think the car is flying, you know.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
And then I like the shape of 300 SL. It's like the perfect line. Like, just when you
The
look
silhouette
at this,
of it, the outside, the silhouette of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
a piece of art.
It is.
And now when you look at modern cars, for me, I don't have any emotions to those cars.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The car has a soul. It has a spirit. So when you look at it, you can feel it when you see the car.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it
Wow.
was like a sports car.
Yeah. Yeah.
But still it looks, you can drive it like casually, or you can drive it on the racetrack.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. It was kind of a dual purpose car. The SLR version was the race car version of that car in the beginning. So they kind of used the same car but modified it so that it could be a race car also. Now, with the restoration and the work that HK Engineering does, what are some of the challenges when someone? How does it work? I mean, someone brings a car to you to restore. Someone buys a car from you restored, or any different combination of that.
It's completely different. So sometimes we find cars that need restoration, and then we buy it, bring it to our workshop, and then we do an expertise of the car. What should we do? If you should start with bodywork, sometimes the body is not perfect and you have to remove the paint and do like completely restoration. And then we try first to find someone for this car, and then we can ask people, what color would you like to have on this car, like this,
So paint it to someone who wants to buy the car, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if we don't find someone fast, we just do it like on the paper when we see the car was delivered in
The factory specs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the factory specs.
So you do it to that, and then hopefully at some point down the road you sell the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are the like the painting and all? What are is there issues and problems with getting parts for these cars? Like, do you have to go directly to Germany to Mercedes, or are there aftermarket parts you can get for them, or where do those come from?
Like 70% of spare parts we produce by ourselves, because at the beginning it was not easy to get all the spare parts, and
Right.
it took us longer to finish the cars. That's why we started to produce our own spare parts in the house. And 30% of spare parts we buy at Mercedes-Benz.
Wow.
But sometimes it takes also a long time. That's why,
For the parts, yeah. Now, I would think probably a restoration here in the United States on a car, ordering parts probably takes quite a bit longer than what you probably still have time. It still takes a lot of time to get parts, but here in the States, it takes a long time to get the parts, to restore the cars and all.
Right.
Wow. So, what do you think on? We were talking about the silhouettes. You said about the unique designs of the car itself, and the silhouette and how it looks. What do you? I was going to ask you again about when you're talking about the restorations. Some of the customers that you buy for or sell to, do they all require like a 100-point show car, or can you just kind of just put it together so it runs nice so they can drive it? Do you understand what I mean? Sometimes like not a show car, but they just want something they can drive. It might not, the paint not be good on it. It might not be the perfect car. Are there customers like that?
We have two different types of customers. So one prefer like shiny, fully restored 300
Show car.
cents
Yeah.
show cars. And some of them, they prefer completely original cars, like matching numbers, matching engine, matching colors. Interior should be should have patina.
Yes, the pattern. You mean the cloth inserts? Yeah.
Old leather.
Yeah.
So it depends, on the taste of the clients.
Right.
And Hans personally, he recommends our clients to keep the car in original conditions because it's more
Worth much.
special.
Yeah, yeah, and it's worth more money in original, right? Rather than modified.
Not always. It depends on the history of the car. If the original car has special history,
Yeah.
then
yeah.
it can be worse as a fully restored Gullwing. So we sell fully restored Gullwings from like it can cost from 1.8 to 2.5 million and euro. And cars with special history, like if the pre-owner was a famous superstar, the car without restoration can cost also 2.2 million, 2 million.
With the celebrity attached to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's the same thing here in the U.S. Yeah. Wow.
Or if the car has Raj wheels
Yes.
that were original Raj wheels,
Yeah.
it's
yeah.
also a lot of worth more.
Wow.
And if the car has a racing history, for example, this car is even much more because it's not easy to find the cars that were racing in 50s and 60s.
Right, right. And they might have a race where they've won special races or have done special things that adds to the value of the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there were 29 Gullwings built from alloy.
The alloy, aluminum
they
alloy,
have
yes. Yeah.
Aluminium body.
Yeah.
They're also like very rare and it's not easy to find.
And
They
those
are
are worth
more-
far more.
yeah.
Far more than that, than the regular standard one. Yeah, yeah. Wow. That's amazing.
You could see at RM Sotheby's in end of October in LA. There was an auction of RM Sotheby's, and they sold a Gullwing alloy with alloy body that they found at Rudy Klein collection from Junkyard Gullwing.
Wow.
I don't know if you know.
I might have
This
heard
car?
of it, yeah, yeah. But it was not restored. It was just the way they found it, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was completely original, but it looked like, it's all full of dust.
Pretty beat up. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What, do you know how much that went for?
I think from $9.3 million.
Wow, because of the alloyed body.
Yeah,
And probably the
and
VIN number was
history.
low. Yeah, yeah. Wow, that's crazy. Now, of those cars that you guys sell, buy, restore, trade, whatever, do any of them end up here in the United States?
Yeah, we have a lot of customers in USA and in the whole world, not only in USA, mostly in Europe. And then now we opened an UAE market for us. We are, because the economy in Germany is going down, and we would like to
Diversify. Go,
Diversify.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
and bring the cars out of Germany in case, something bad will
Oh,
happen.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow, that's interesting. I never thought of that. I mean, because of the value of them keeps spiraling and keeps going up and up and
Yeah.
up. Wow. Now, with your traveling, obviously you've been talking about all over the world. You fly here and fly there. What do you think, as far as your observation in the world perspective? What are people like in Europe? Are they similar to the people in the United States? The car collectors, the people that collect the Mercedes. When you buy and sell to these, are these people different? Do they demand different things, or are they all kind of the same thing because it's all universal?
For example, we don't sell so many cars. Our car collectors from Europe that don't buy a lot of cars from the auctions, like in USA, for example. And after the Kinle story, like 2 years ago, the people started to be more careful with cars, classic cars especially. And they're starting to check everything, and they prefer now more original cars and not restored, where you can really see that the VIN number is correct,
Yeah,
that everything is matching.
yeah. It has the correct history, and all the paperwork is lined up and it matches. And sometimes that doesn't work, right? People are trying to do these different things, and it's crazy. Wow. But now, to move on to you, Miss Gullwing, in the social media world, we all have to jump into that one way or another. We're sitting here because of that. My business is involved in it, whether I like it or not. What has that done for you? And as far as and also for HK and the car and actually the Mercedes, how has that affected you in your growth through the social media?
It was a spontaneous decision to start the channel. Like, not spontaneous. It was 4 or 3 years ago. I met a guy through Hans. His name was Thiel, and he was a marketing manager for Mercedes for 15 years. and he said like, Jana, you are always with 300L with Hans everywhere on the events. Why don't you call you Miss Gullwing? Because you're always filming those
Yeah,
cars in
yeah.
action. And thought, it's a good idea. And then I checked if the name was free, and it was free. And then I changed the name and I focused myself only on 300SL. And then I started to post only this car, not like no private trips, nothing. So only the car in action on the events, everywhere we went.
Mm-hmm.
And then the channel exploded and people starting to follow me, asking questions about 300SL and asking like, what are you doing? How do you have the access to those cars,
Oh, wow. They're interested. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're always like, I'm working with HK Engineering, we are doing this and this. And then like after 2 years, it's really like exploded and many car collectors started to send me messages like, oh, I'm also having 300SL. I would like you to drive my car. Please come to
And take pictures.
LA or come to San Francisco
Wow.
or come to Dubai. I know.
Wow.
They're like everywhere in the whole world.
Now, do you think that there is helping with HK too, getting their name on the map and getting them more business? Maybe the buying and selling too, with your face out there in the world?
Yeah, we are like, couple, HK Engineering and Miss Gullwing, we are connected. And always when we are traveling together, people are coming to us and they recognize us thanks to social media, and they come to us. And I went to Moda Miami like 1 week ago, and I met a Greek guy. He bought his first 300SL Roadster at RM Sotheby's auction in London. And he said, I would like to restore my car because I want to keep it forever. And I want that my sons will drive it in the future. I don't want him to sell this car.
Yeah.
And I want the car to be perfect. And I said, we do. I'm from HK Engineering. We do restoration. We can help you. So the things like that,
Yeah.
we can always advise people, or if they have any questions because they say it's not working, what could you recommend us? And if the car is in USA and needs small service, we can recommend also another workshops
Here in LA, in the United States. Yeah.
who can help them, Then you don't need to ship the car to HK Engineering.
Right. Yeah, that was another question to ask as far as that goes. But once the car basically has been gone through by you and it comes here to another country, you can pretty much maybe bring it to another mechanic and have them work done on your supervision of the car, probably. Yeah.
Or sometimes if the cars have bigger problems, we send our mechanics to those countries.
Depends
to
on how
check
good the
car.
customer is, huh?
Yeah. It
Wow.
doesn't matter. Every customer is special.
Wow.
Important.
Now, you mentioned a minute ago about this woman is concerned for her son. And this is actually a part of the family now. The car has become their family member. So it's an emotional attachment to the car. They want to keep it for the son so that he can have the car. Now, being that you're a woman in the car world, which is not a big thing, mostly times when I sit and talk, most of my customers are men, not very many are women. Some are, but not very many. What do you see what's going to happen with women in cars and how that can evolve in the future? Do you think there's a future for it as far as where you want to go with what you want to do?
I wish that we have more women in the car world, because as a woman it's not easy not to survive, but you always need to prove yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Because they think, okay, it's a woman, she can't drive a car, or I don't know. I posted 2 weeks ago, I posted a reel, me driving a Gullwing in Oman. We organized a rally in Oman for the first time in our life. And then I was driving with a friend of mine. She's also a girl from Oman. And we opened the wings and drove the car like that. And it's okay, you can drive the car. We had police escort. There were no other cars around, so it was all safe. And then someone took a video of us, and then I posted this video on my social media channel. And then the people started to write like, oh, women, they even can't drive. Oh, they open the wings, like, they started.
Yeah.
So always saying,
like it's unsafe.
women.
You're not being safe when you do that.
Yeah, it's still
Lord.
still
Wow.
the problem, and you have always like.
Yeah. Well, we're looking to you. We're looking to you to change all that.
Yeah, but Merle Moulin.
Yes, from Peter Mullen's wife. Yes.
she's my big example how a woman should be, and she is like, I don't know, she's over 80, but she's still
Wow.
like full of power and driving crazy. I met her 2.5 years ago at Mille Miglia in Emirates, and I saw her with her 300 SL Roadster driving through the desert and really fast. I was driving Mercedes to 80 SE, and our engine was not so good.
Oh,
It's
wow.
and Meryl was always passing by very fast, and I was like, "Who is this lady?"
Wow.
And then in the evening, we started talking, and then she told me that she did Mille Miglia with her husband, and she was driving, not Peter was driving.
Oh,
She was
wow.
driving,
Wow.
and she always liked to go on rallies, and she's organizing ladies rallies in Europe.
Wow.
And so like, wow, she's a power woman.
Yeah.
And
So
we
this
need
is
more.
this is what I was talking about. Wow.
We need more women in the car business.
Yeah. So for those who you don't know, she's talking about Merle Mullen, who is Peter Mullen's wife. Peter Mullen is a very, very high-end car collector here in Los Angeles. He recently passed away, but his wife seems to be carrying on the tradition of everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She keeps the passion, and she's still driving and taking care of the cars.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, very good, very good. Well, one of the questions that I always have to ask someone in the car world and the car business, and we're involved in the internal combustion gasoline engines. What do you think about electric cars? What's your gut feeling in your gut? How do you feel about electric cars and where they might go?
So I told you before that I studied hotel management, and after I finished, I started working at the hotel at the reception. And
This was in Germany.
It was in Germany, in
yeah.
Munich. And we had a colleague. He was responsible for parking the cars. And once he was sick, and then I always asked the hotel director if I can take care of the cars if he is sick, when he is ill, because he was not really passionate about his job. I said, okay, he is sick. I was like, cool, then I can park all those cars, you know. And then first time I was driving electric car when I was working in the hotel. It was Tesla. And then I was sitting inside of the car. I said, okay, how do I start the car first? And then, yeah, you start the car and it has no emotions. You're like, okay. It was like nothing. It's like emptiness. Okay, I thought, okay, electric cars are nothing for me. And then you start driving.
Yeah.
You push the pedal and there is like,
It just goes.
no, it's nothing.
Yeah.
And you're like disappointed. So no way why people like electric cars.
Yeah.
And now it was like, I was very sad.
Yes, it's a whole different world. The electric cars are a whole different world. It is. It is. Well, one of the things, as far as you've enlightened us on a whole bunch of different things and how your journey has been, in that journey, and as far as you've been to present day, is there anything that you might want to share with us, women, us, anybody, of some of the things you've done, the good things, the bad things, mistakes, some of the good things you've made, and what you might want to do for the future, and where you want to go?
I would like to, I keep going, and in the car world, I would like to keep working with classic cars, because for me it's like, I feel like home, you know. I found my
Your calling.
something
Yes.
what gives me energy, and you are never tired, and you never have enough.
Yep. Yep.
And I'm ready to travel and work, to not sleep, you know.
And just keep doing what you're doing, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I have noticed in the last time, that everyone is worrying how does the future of classic cars look like, because we have a problem in our company to find people who would
Interested.
keep this knowledge,
Yes,
and who is
yeah.
interested to work
Yeah.
in the engine department, in the holstery,
Wholesale. Yeah.
holstery.
In the upholstery. And yes.
Upholstery,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not easy, you know.
You know what? And I've heard this from others in the classic car world, and especially the European classic cars. The newer generations coming up don't have a lot of interest in the cars. And therefore, you're exactly saying that to keep that alive, to keep that going. The men and women today that have brought it to where it is are now getting old and retiring and leaving the sport or leaving the job. So you need to get in there, ignite it, and keep it fresh all the time.
Yeah, and I think we all all people from the classic car world, we need to work on the younger generation
Yes.
to take them on the rallies, show them the cars. Because I'm also organizing, I'm working for another company called Lions Run, and we organize rallies with sports cars and hypercars in Europe. We drive 1 week through 3-4 different countries and stay in nice hotels. And my clients from this company, they always say like, Iana, you're working with these old cars. They're stinky and they can drive. Like, why are you doing this? And you're like, are you seriously?
Wow.
Did you ever drive this car before you say things like that?
Yeah. Wow.
So, and they are like people between 30 and 50, 55, 60.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, I need to show them how the car is running.
Right.
And it's not stinky.
No.
There are restored Gullwings,
Right.
They look great. They're even better than some Bugattis, You have to show them this classic car world because I think they don't know this world.
Right.
That's why they have wrong opinion of this.
Yeah, they need to be exposed to it. So I think we've identified that issue today is we need to focus on that, and educate the other generations coming up on how valuable in keeping this whole sport or this whole generation of automobiles going.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, definitely. And I can see that when I speak sometimes, and when I spoke to other people sometimes, the key, which I can see what you're discussing, is the key to what you do is you enjoy it. You like to get up every morning and go do it. What you do, the details are irrelevant. It's you're getting up to do what you like to do. And that's what's keeping you motivated. And you're going to continue to do that until whenever, right?
You never know.
Yeah. Well, very good. Well, I think we've learned a little bit here. Very good. Thank you for coming by and discussing a little bit with us about the cars. We've also known now about the sport and how to keep the sport alive. Thank you very much, Iana, for coming by.
Thank you.
And I'd like to thank everybody and take care. Thanks for riding with us today. If you enjoyed the show, please be sure to subscribe and share. See you here next time.